10 seconds. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Öncelikle merhabalar. Semih Altındağ ben, Öncü Yöneticiler Derneği'nden. Bir dizi mesleki gelişim programımız var bizim. Web sitemizi ziyaret ettiyseniz görmüşsünüzdür diye umut ediyorum veya mutlaka ziyaret edin öncüyöneticiler.com. Biz bu akşam 19. web seminerimizi vereceğiz. Kiminle? Profesör Doktor Khalid Arar, kendisi Texas Üniversitesi Eğitim Fakültesi'nde okul iyileştirme programında görevli. Khalid Bey, you're going to start your speech. As you know, you're going to talk 45 minutes here, and we'll have 15 minutes of question and answer session. You're going to talk about the refugees education, as far as I know, and in general school improvement systems with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Şimdi ben çok uzatmadan sözü Halit Bey'e vermek istiyorum. Arkasında bir 45 dakikalık konuşmasından sonra 15 dakikalık soru cevap bölümümüz olacak. O yüzden böyle kağıt kalem kenarlara belki sorularımızı hazırlarız. Daha sonra alırız. Görüşmek üzere. There you go. You can start.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I'm very happy to present my book along with you, and thank you very much, Professor Ibrahim, Madinat University, and the coordinator for inviting me for this evening to present my new book. Speaking about refugees education, and can you see the presentation?
Let me ask, because I just can't see you in my screen. Sorry.
Yeah, I want to upload my presentation if it's okay, or
yeah. Try, please. Presentation. You can use the share screen button
yes.
there. Yeah.
Yes. Minute.
So the audience cannot see what you're sharing right now?
Oh,
yeah. Sanıyorum bir problem oldu ve çıktı. Tekrar kendisine link göndereceğim şimdi. There he comes.
now they can see what I'm sharing.
Yes.
Okay, I don't see my my file over here, so Okay. Okay. Shall we ask the excuse of everybody, and we won't share the screen, and afterward we can come back again. Okay.
Okay. Birkaç dakika sonra konuğumuzu tekrar alacağız. Ekranda zannediyorum bir sıkıntısı oldu. Onu düzenleyip tekrar girecek. Sizi de biraz bekletmiş olacağım. Aynı zamanda bizim web sitemizden size bahsediyordum. Öncüyöneticiler.com'u bir ziyaret etmenizi önereceğim. Bu aralarda yine hareketliyiz. Hem mesleki gelişim, bu salgın döneminde iyi değerlendirmek açısından uzun süredir aslında devam eden web seminerlerimiz bu dönem biraz daha kıymetli oldu. Aynı zamanda gelecek olan konferansa da bir göz atmanızı öneririm. I think you handle the issue, right?
I'm trying because this is my first time to use this stream. Do you want me to send it to you so you can share it?
Yes, I will try that, please.
Okay. Can you please send me your email?
No, you can send via WhatsApp.
Okay, a minute.
Desktop. Mm-hmm.
A minute. Yes, okay. I will do this in a minute. Okay.
Evet, hocamız bu arada dosyasını gönderecek. Gönderdi hatta. Bu arada ben de size biraz daha web seminerlerimizden bahsedeyim. Kimler katıldı web seminerlerimize? Büyük hocalarımız genellikle katıldı. Sivil toplum kuruluşlarından katılan, girişimcilerden katılan konuklarımız oldu. Özür dilerim. Çoğumuzun eğitim camiasının tanıdığı genellikle isimlerin katıldığı.
Yeah. Okay, so I sent to you the presentation. You can upload it. While you upload it, I can start. So sorry for the delay. Just let me know when we can start, okay?
Okay. Share screen. Okay. Application window. Yes, I guess it's okay.
Okay.
So this is your book on the right, as you
Yes.
all see.
Yes.
I'm passing through.
Okay. So, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. I want to start to speak about, how this book all started. And as a scholar who has been researching social justice leadership for a few times, and I have been witnessing all the waves of refugees, and we are speaking about 271 million immigrants around the world, while displaced and refugees makes about 70 million out of them. Since 2010, following all war agenda, especially in the Middle East, in different Middle East countries. So, and also political uprisings and, physical conflicts. Emergency started in the Middle East, and by then, waves of refugees started to leave their countries to displace and seek different countries to arrive to. Out of 196 different nations in the world, few opened their gate to refugees. Few were welcome to open their gates for this war-torn people. Out of few countries that opened their gates, Turkey was one of these countries that opened its gates to welcome asylum seekers and refugees. And I think, looking to Turkish culture and history, the country used or adopted the heritage of Jalaluddin Rumi, who says, come, come, whoever you are, whatever worshiper, lover of living, it isn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, even if you have broken your vows 1,000 times, come yet again, come, come. So few countries were enough generous to open their gates, to open their homes, to open their houses, and to open their hearts to welcome awkward, weakened, war-torn people. While we are speaking, out of these millions of people in move, more than half of them are children, vulnerable children. So watching this phenomena, I have started to research refugees first in Jordan, and then I moved to research refugees in Turkey. And my Turkish friends were enough welcome and generous. So throughout my friends, support, assistance, and also engaging in this research, I have been enough lucky to be welcomed and accepted in different universities in Turkey. So I've been in Middle East Technical University. I've been hosted there by Professor Yashar Kondakci and his department since then. And also another universities hosted me also in Gaziantep University. Professor Mohammed Sinchar was also welcoming. So in Turkey, I pulled together with Turkish colleagues a team who started to research refugees education. Among them is Deniz Urucu, Professor Deniz Urucu, and Gulnur Aki, and other people. So we started to investigate and explore refugees educations in terms of policy, leadership, and praxis. So we visited different schools in Anatolia, and also we visited education system in Gaziantep as well. And from Turkey, I started also to move to explore refugees education in Germany, while I analyzed educational policy text in Germany, and also observed different welcoming educational practice in Germany, especially in Una region, where I have been hosted, warmly hosted, once again by Steffi, who accompanied me to visit different German schools, who welcomed and integrated Syrian refugees, students very warmly. And throughout these investigations, I also moved to Canada, where also I started to investigate refugees education. And from Canada back again to Malta and other European countries. So I've been able to understand this phenomena, the policy text that has been developed around this phenomena, the leadership practices to integrate and to welcome refugee students. I've been also able to investigate moving between borders, how different nations close their gates while not even participate in receiving refugees, and others open their gates and welcome them within different, legislative mechanism. Some give them safe haven, as in Turkey, emergency status. Other give them also refugees status and asylum seekers in Germany. And also, I have been able to listen to the refugees' voice, to their torture, to their memories, to the passage they went throughout in their way from their homeland to the next country. So they have memories to leave, they have families to leave, they have lots of things that they have left there and lost there. So by then, I try to understand their challenges, especially their social, psychological, educational, welfare, economical challenges. And I've also started to try to understand all these challenges in a holistical term, and also the challenges that they faced in the new countries, both institutionally, educationally, psychologically, economically, etc. And from there, I moved to investigate education for refugees. I have analyzed the different scholarship, the written works about refugees education in all the globe, the undocumented displaced people in the United States, refugees people in Europe, and I have been able to screen the main trends of refugees education research in the globes. And I came out with the following main themes. Policy implication of absorption of refugees and resettlements, integration policy, and also the second theme was school-based mental and psychological intervention due to their needs, and also educational practices in terms of teaching and instructions, if there were adaptable instructions for refugees, inclusive instructions, to integrate refugees, cultural relevant instructions to welcome them. And within these challenges, I mapped learning needs of refugees, social needs, emotional needs, and of course, how all these needs got a response from the receiving country, both in terms of policy, in terms of leadership, and in terms of practice, and what was the educators' agency towards this. And is it humanistic agency? Is it nationalistic agency? Is it a social justice lens? From there, when I started to investigate refugees' education, I started to look throughout cultural relevance lens and to question the relevance of the curriculum towards these newcomers, to investigate the relevance of the leadership, the relevance of educational practice. While we have a meeting between two cultures, the hosting culture and the newcomers' cultures. In this cultural meeting, what were the practices? What was the public discourse around this phenomena? And of course, by then, I tried to develop a model of cultural relevance leadership for refugees education in order to provide them with a quality education, a welcoming education from a humanitarian stance and responsibility. The journey of displacement, how it was tackled, what were the policies towards this displacement, the educational policies towards war time, and of course, from challenges from this passage towards integration, what it takes to integrate these students, what are the best strategies and mechanism of integration to be handled. And of course, among this is language difficulties, social difficulties, refugees' identity, their social needs, their psychological needs, and also the lack of programs and preparatory programs in order to include them and to prepare educators to welcome refugees in their daily educational practice. And of course, in the book, I do present a practical and a holistic approach, started from policy, moving toward leadership, and of course, educational praxis. In the book, I present a supportive model of welcoming refugees throughout diverse mechanisms, networks of connection and initiatives, international and intersectional national initiatives, and policy development in order to build a cultural relevant education, a cultural relevant curriculum, cultural relevant policy and instructions. So I provided the reader with a model of collective responsibility, our social collective responsibility toward refugees, ensuring educational access while providing with the sufficient resources to integrate them. And of course, the need of school principals development in order to improve our policy and practices of integration. professional development is needed. Inclusive curriculum and curriculums, including classrooms and teaching curriculums, and of course, professional development for teachers in order to meet refugees' needs. And within all this, to build a welcoming policy, welcoming cohesive social policy for integration of refugees. And of course, in the book, we have a very holistic and multi-layer, multifaceted, holistic approach toward welcoming education, started from not dealing with a problem, not dealing with a crisis. Opposite to this, welcoming strategies, both in placement, in cultural relevant leadership, and also intra and inter coordination of these strategies in terms of sustainable educational strategies, and of course engaging the school and the community in their host, while both empowering them in order to integrate and to participate in the society and in the economic production in the society, and also to build a welcoming discourse of refugees. And in the end, I moved in chapter 7 towards speaking about leading the community towards social cohesion, because in order to host newcomers, in order to host refugees, we need to be welcoming and also to encounter diversity and to build a diversified discourse that gives place to our newcomers, our visitors, while meeting their needs as immigrants, especially their aspiration and their familial integration, and of course navigating them throughout the new national system. There are linguistic needs that we need to look after, and of course there is also the discourse of resistance towards integrating refugees that we should handle in societal terms. And within this, as Michael Fullan put it, we need a school in order to mobilize, in order to leverage the whole village, the whole community, in order to be supportive, cohesive, integrative, welcoming, diversified students. And of course, family support, family engagement, and of course, school system support and community support. All these supports can give refugees a good chance to integrate, of course, in the new society by shared societal responsibility in order to succeed in hosting the refugees and to accept their identities within the build-up of diversity and multiculturalism, education, and of course global citizenship education, which gives refugees a place in the new nation. And this can be done throughout integrative and holistic welcoming policy. And in chapter 8, I close the book with the dilemma of educating refugees, while raised different questions about placement, questions about leadership, preparatories and development, educators agency. Are educators enough prepared to the welcoming stance? Are society enough prepared to the welcoming stance? And there are different dilemmas and steps to be taken forward in order to host refugees. And in each of the different chapters, I have presented also the exile narrative while using different narratives of refugees themselves, ex-refugees in the world. So this text has been used in order to stress and to bring the voice of refugees to the fore, so people can be more understandable, can be more inclusive. And of course, I closed the book with optimism and hope. Optimism to try to tackle, re-examine the war agenda, to try to re-examine our stance towards war-torn people, the world stance, the big economists in the world, how they should welcome war-torn people and how they should share the welcoming policy and reception and agency. So I think this book also is very important for Turkish scholars, because out of 4 main countries that welcomed refugees, Turkey was one of the big and the main hosting country, while it hosted more than 3.5 million Syrian refugees in Turkey. So this book can be of help to educational leaders, to educators, to school superintendents, and to educationalists in the academy. This can help support refugees, inclusiveness and integration in the Turkish education system, especially as we faced the difficulties, the constraints that educators faced. Also, we faced their agency, how much they try, how they open their hearts, how they open their gates and doors to welcome other people in their schools. And also the Turkish society can also get some lessons from this book, as it represents their welcoming heritage, their welcoming narrative towards others. So this is what I want to say about the book. And of course, I want to close this with 2 different discourses. One discourse is the welcoming discourse, as I've started with the words that has been that are written in Jalaluddin Rumi's tomb in Konya, is the welcoming discourse, which Turkey adopted, Germany adopted, Canada adopted, and few countries adopted, while other countries closed their gates and, of course, accelerated the enmity discourse, the hatiness discourse, and were not welcoming to refugees, were not willing to participate in this human crisis, to give refugees a new chance, a new life chance, new education chance, new integration chance, and of course to leverage the whole economy, the whole societal discourse towards welcoming discourse. So that's it. Of course, you can read the whole book. I am very happy that few educational calibers. I want to thank here Ira Buguc, who forwarded this book with his insightful words. I want to thank Denise Uruchu for reading the first draft of the book and provided me with her comments, constructive comments. Of course, I want to thank Tony Bush from the UK for his endorsement, Alan Walker from Korea for his endorsement, Petty Merchant from Texas for endorsing the book, and of course other different colleagues, especially Salahuddin Turan, Professor Salahuddin Turan also, who supported and endorsed the book. So although this is my book, yet I do think that a big world family participated in this book, even not straightforward, but they were there throughout their research, throughout their voices, throughout their critique. Also, we have had the chance to present educational leadership for refugees in different educational conferences in the globe, both in the United States, in Europe, and in Canada, and in other countries. So thank you very much for giving people this opportunity. And of course, you are welcome to read the book and to think of how you can carry on with this project, with this humanitarian project. So this book is not an end. Let's say it's a beginning of understanding refugees education, and especially educational policy and leadership of refugees education. Thank you very much for listening. And now, if you have any questions to collect from our audience, so this is the time.
Yes, the audience also have questions, but before I will ask, thank you for your speech and presentation and the book you have written. Since we have more than 3.5 million refugees in Turkey, yes, it would be useful, and thanks to your speech, we're going to be into it. One of the questions are, how did you start to write, or how did you think of writing such a book? What was your motivation in this?
Okay, I can say, I mean, out of all of my book, I never set to write a book. I have made the research about refugee education in Turkey. Out of this research, we have published different papers and chapters. Myself, Deniz Orucu, and Gulnur Aki. So we have 2 different papers. We have a chapter, and also I edited, along with Denise and Professor Duncan Wade from Texas, a special issue about education, understanding educational leadership for refugees. Also, I have edited a book with Jeff Brooks from Australia and with Ira Buguc about immigrants' education. Out of all of this works, out of all of this research, I sat down after having this bulk of data. I tried to analyze what I have. While I do have the research background, I do have the understanding of different global policy that I have been investigated in different nations. I have had the refugees' voices. I can say that we interviewed, there are in this book more than 80 different interviewees of educators, teachers, principals. Also, I interviewed families to understand. Yes. So, yeah. So, I mean, we ended up with a material that we can write up an encyclopedia. So, within this, I tried to build up a spinal cord. What is important for the reader to understand uh, uh, in order to get more understanding, to connect, to affiliate toward integration of others, integration of immigrants, integration of refugees and displaced. And I can tell you that the mission of writing the book, first, it took me more than 6 months to write up the proposal. And the book proposal has been sent to 3 different scholars in the world in order to read it. I got some comments, which I've revised, I looked after. And after the proposal accepted, when Routledge contracted this book with me, I started to work on the book. I can tell you that it took me more than a year to write up the first draft of this book. Luckily, as I've said, I have had a few friends to read the first draft, different chapters, to provide me with comments. So by then, this book was ready to be sent to publication. So it is a task, but this task starts from vision, start from agency, start from a stance, a humanitarian stance that I took as a scholar.
Okay, we have a few more questions. Before starting them, since there are 4 main countries hosting the most refugees, except for Turkey, right? And I will ask about the attitudes and approaches of other European countries while defending diversity and humanism a lot. How can you compare and contrast the Turkish school leaders and the European school leaders in managing this process or refugees education thing?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. In my communication with one of my colleagues today, we were speaking about social justice, and what I've said to him is that people need to speak less about social justice and do more for social justice. Not to speak about it, to do it. So within the global discourse of liberalism, humanism, social justice, integration, those discourse, all this, very unique words, very human stances in terms of discourse out of 196 countries that has been signed the UN resolution to welcome refugees and displaced in their countries. Few open their gates. I can say that most European countries closed their gates in front of refugees, so they were unwelcome towards them. And the public discourse was a discourse of right wing, a discourse of exclusion, a discourse for hatiness. And in the United States, the discourse was of building walls. The discourse was of expelling them. The discourse was of putting people in cages in global South, in the United States. So few countries open their gates towards refugees and welcome them. if we have had the opportunity to have all signed countries to the UN resolution, so this burden, this heavy human responsibility would be listened, would be easy to handle, would be better handled, would be handled with multiple resources and cross-sectional programs, and refugees will feel more human, more hosted, and more welcomed in different nations. So out of these nations, Turkey was among the few countries that opened their gates, and even also few European countries were a bit unhappy of Turkish decision to try to host refugees in Turkey. Yeah.
Even if we and the other countries have opened the gates, we see the statistics are really low, as 50% in primary schools or 22% at secondary school, which we cannot count them as the rest as the workforce, as far as I guess. So it's a big problem. Another problem, people who you're not educating are a big part of problem. Continuing the other questions, how can you estimate the evolution of this refugee education problem in the future? What will it be like, do you think?
Okay, when we speak about in the world globally, we have 71.2 million displaced and refugees in the world. And as I have said, half of them are under 18. Mm-hmm. If we give them a chance, if we host them, if we integrate them within the society, within the education system, if we provide them with the tool to integrate language tools, social tools, social welfare tools, economical tools, they can be a supportive and leverage. They can be part of developing the hosting nation's economy. One of the Germans' rationale to welcome refugees in their country, when we look to the average age of employees in Germany, welcoming educated refugees in Germany, and people who have, and we know from the research that refugees have aspiration towards education. They want to study, they want to participate. So if we give them their chance, in the future they will participate in the economy, they will participate, and even socially they will support, and they will improve diversity. And we know that whenever diversity and whenever socially we are inclusive, so we are more cohesive socially, and we are more stronger as a society. So giving refugees a chance, I think will have a good end for the hosting country, for the hosting society, in terms of participation in economy and socially. When we speak about, for example, physical harassment, when we speak about, all risk behavior, when we compared the numbers towards other social parties percentage, we found that refugees even have less percentage in being engaged in risk behavior in violence. But the media, the public discourse, the right-wing public discourse project this idea, concentrate on these problems in order to build up a heightening and exclusion discourse towards them. But in terms of numbers, in terms of percentages, the percentages are even lower than normal.
I see. Thank you. Passing to another question. Thank you for your answer. What do you recommend? What do you advise our researchers to study about the refugees or Syrian people education, or just the problems here in Turkey? What do you advise?
Yeah. First, to listen to their passage, to their road toward Turkey, to their way toward Turkey, and then after listening, to be sensitive, because it's very important to be sensitive to their challenges, their needs, and also their integration. So we need to be of more subjective when we study this phenomena, and to connect to their challenges, to connect to their needs, to connect to the obstacles that they faces, to connect to their also well-being, and also towards their discourse as different people. So this is one thing, and to be, of course, in the one hand understanding, in the second hand critical, and in the third hand to think of always of better way. I mean, how we can do it better, how educators can handle this in a better way, by seeking the better way inside the school, within the community. We can handle this issue much more better.
Okay. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, studies, and your experience here. We're happy to see you here, and we will be happy to see you in our next conference in Turkey also. So good luck with your studies. Thank you.
Thank you, Samiha, for hosting me, and please express my thanks to Professor Ibrahim Hakan, and also to your department, to your dean in Madinat University. I've been visited more than time, and you have Turk people, you have a big place in my heart. So I have lots of Turkish friends and colleagues that I cannot start thank them now, because if I start do that, I will not finish. So okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sizlere de katıldığınız için çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Dinleyicilerimiz, derneğimiz adına yapılan bu çalışmaların devamlarında da sizleri yine burada bekliyoruz. Hep birlikte daha güzel, daha büyük işler yapacağız. İyi çalışmalar.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.